Okay, everyone, we're going to upload this conflict piece of data. So let's take a look. Conflict, region, or conflict type, sorry, region, and death estimate. As we do, we import it, and now we're going to attach it. Now, this is useful. I got this from one of the, I think maybe Uppsala Prio or something like that. And then I kind of cleaned it up so there's only one dependent variable, death estimate. Region could be an independent variable, but we're going to work on conflict type. Why? Well, national security, a natural question that arises is, what types of wars lead to more deaths? So if we code for 3 types of wars, we can kind of understand to see which type of war or conflict, that is, leads to a certain amount of deaths. So then we can address these in the proper way. So we have 4 types. We have the extra systemic, even though there is none in this particular database, I'm just going to say, number 1, that's between a state and a non-state group outside its own territory. You know, so you're fighting this group that maybe wants land back or something like that. But the last 3 are the ones that are in this data set. Interstate, that's between just 2 or more states, right? A regular war, the Ukraine versus Russia, say. Internal, that is between the government of a state and 1 or more internal opposition groups with intervention from other states. And then internationalized intrastate, right? Which is basically side A is always the government, like up there, but side B is always 1 or more rebel groups in which there is no involvement of a foreign government with troops. So there's no interference. So this internal one is similar to this last one, right? So this is 1 is extra systemic, 2 interstate war between 2 states, a conventional war, let's say, number 2 is. Number 3 is there's an internal one, right, between the government, A, and an internal opposition group, right? And then 4, by mistake, internationalized interstate, which is the same as 3, but there is involvement of foreign government with troops basically supporting, you know, the other side. Say a good example of that, in my opinion, would be Liberia and Sierra Leone. So Liberia was supporting the conflict in Sierra Leone, where a group was trying to overthrow the government. It was basically a civil war, but it got help from Liberia, the group in Sierra Leone. Regardless, the goal here is to see, right, which one of these, actually there's no 1 in this, there's just 2, 3, and 4. And we have a good sized data set with 1,848 pieces of data. The problem here, to clean this up, we're going to use the deep layer, is we're going to have to turn this into, from a numerical to a nominal variable. Because right now it is numerical. So what we're going to do, as you can see here, as we do class, conflict. My hunch is it's numerical, and it could be. Oh, no, that's the, the class. Conflict. Oh, it's just a tibble. So yeah, you definitely want to turn this class, the conflict type, into a thing. Sorry, that was the... All right, here we go. That was the data set itself, which is a tibble data frame, etc. Oh, it's a factor. It already is a factor, so we don't even have to do anything to it. We're very lucky. So usually you'd have to go, let's say, you could still do it. Let's say that was a character. The conflict type would have to be changed into a factor. But it is a factor. Ooh, we're lucky. So now we're essentially going to run this code that I already have, right? If you here I might as well write it out so you can kind of understand it. This will be the first part of the lecture. Conflict, then you hit the $sign, then conflict type, and we're going to recode it. But watch this. I did not. Oh, I do have deep liar, and I'll show you what that is after. Deep liar is a package, and I'll just show you it after I do this. That's the way we get the recode. So we're doing it again, conflict. And very excited. Put the dollar there and all the variables come up, region, etc. We're doing conflict type. And what we need to do is, because when you look at conflict, right, this conflict type is recognized. But these numbers, or if they were nominal attributes, say gender, you had gender up here, male, female. The male, female, and in this case, 2, 3, and 4 are not recognized. So you have to put them in quotes so R knows what you're talking about. So 1 equals, even though there is no 1, we'll still do it. Extra systemic, that's what we'll call it. 2, oops, I forgot that also has to be in quotes. 2 is, why is it closed? 2 is, yeah, we can easily just copy and paste it from up there so it doesn't take that long. Intrastate. And 4 is international. So that should do it. Basically, 1 equals extra systemic, 2 equals interstate. They get the little comma there. 3 equals eternal, and 4 equals eternalized. And you basically have to do that in order to get the correct results. It's not common, but with a lot of data sets in Cow, Prio, Uppsala, etc., with conflict, they often have the tendency to name these, types of conflict 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's say level of political terror, but R does not compute that well. They have to be, which I have found, and I tried to do this both ways with this one, have some kind of nominal variable to show you. So let's see if this works. Unexpected, string constant, and let's take a look at what's going on. So we got conflict. I like when I make mistakes because then you learn from it. So we got conflict type. 1 is extra systemic. That might be it because there is no 1. 2 is, let me see. 2 equals interstate, 3 equals eternal, and 4 equals eternalized. And still not doing it. There seems to be something in there that needs to get out. And that's what we're going to figure out. And we did. This needs to be, there was no quotient mark there. So let's take a look. So let's see if it worked. Yay, it did work. So see, I always do that. I'll make a little mistake like, oh, this wasn't here, going back up here. Oh, there was no, it was like this. What do? Takes a little bit to figure it out. Oh, okay, I get it. It's like that, but I'm not going to redo that one. So the point is that, if you have errors like this is the unexpected string constant for the first one. There is no 1 in this data set, if you notice. So 1 there is no change. But also there was like no question. There was no, if you notice here, the mistake was here. This one did not have a quote. So I like when that happens because it teaches me how to calm down. It's like, oh my goodness, R hates me or something. I can't figure it out. People always make mistakes, and that's the point of it. So now we have the conflict type, the internal, eternalized, and internationalized, eternal. These are tough words. And then you can see there are a few of the interstate. But that's one of the, yeah, there they are, interstate. So what we're gonna do now in the next video, after we learn how to kind of clean up the data, because this is cleaning up the data, we're gonna answer this question according to this data set. What types of wars lead to more deaths? Thanks, everyone.